Hey guys, it's Upa here, and we've gotten the announcement and details of the new limited time hero character which will be coming this Friday. She's called Noelle, a legendary character from the Wizard's Eye faction, attack type, and red mark. So I do like the fact that it's being introduced in the Wizard's Eye faction. This is a faction which is generally pretty weak. There are some strong heroes like Lydia, Bill is decent as well, and the most recent character Muhammad. But there's been a severe lack of a proper damage dealer, and hopefully Noelle as a attack type will solve this issue. But before we talk about the skills, let's just take a quick look at her animations and skills. So this is what we should see for when you click her in the hero page. Pretty interesting, not bad, pretty cool. And of course, I think her design is pretty interesting as well. A bit similar to Marie, but I mean, different enough that you can tell the difference. But of course, I think most of you guys are more interested in what she does. So let's get right into it. Her basic attack, Marvelous Gift Box, deals 100% attack damage and 300% attack detonation damage to a single enemy, and inflicts one layer of Scare Box on the target. So we'll see what Scare Box does later. So this is very clearly a burn damage character. Detonation is kind of a subset of burn damage. Detonation is going to be especially useful for content such as Boss Marius in the dungeons. And she has a part of attack damage as well, which may be useful. We'll take a look later. Next, Exploding Magic Box. This is the special tool. Summon 5 boxes to attack enemies randomly, prioritizing attacking different targets. So basically, in most cases, against 5 enemy heroes, all 5 will just hit 1 each. Each box deals 100% attack damage and 190% attack detonation damage to an enemy, and inflicting 1 layer of Scare Box. So what this Scare Box is, which also applies on the basic attack over here, Scare Box is when casting Exploding Magic Box each time, which is the special tool, for each 1 layer of Scare Box owned by the enemy, the damage taken by the enemy each time equals to 170% of the previous time each enemy is calculated separately. And then all Scare Box will be removed from all enemies when the skill ends, and it can be stacked up to 5 layers. This may be a little confusing, but let me try and explain it, assuming, I interpreted it correctly. You can stack multiple layers of Scare Box on the enemies up to 5 times, and for each layer that you have on the enemy, every time you use the special tool, it will basically cast again with additional damage here, 170%, based on the number of Scare Box layers owned. So if the enemy has 0 layers of Scare Box and you cast this Exploding Magic Box, it will only cast twice. That's because we have this initial cast and then we have this inflicts 1 layer of Scare Box, which will trigger. If the enemy has 5 layers of Scare Box, for example, you can basically assume that this Exploding Magic Box will be essentially cast 6 times in total, and each time will deal more and more damage. So it will ramp up over time, and I think this has a lot of damage potential. Next, let's move on to the passive. If Self has initial highest attack amongst allies, gain immunity to control effects. This is going to be really important for PvP. Pretty straightforward requirement, highest initial attack. And then next, compares the target's HP percentage before and after self-cast Marvelous Gift Box, or deals damage by casting active skills. So basically in any kind of damage that she deals, right? If the reduced HP percentage is no more than 10%, additionally deals 400% attack damage once ignoring damage immunity, with 100% crit rate and 100% piercing. And on top of that, 100% of Noel's mastery is converted to crit damage in the duration. So I would say this is where this attack damage element comes in, and it's a pretty interesting concept, which basically means if you do very little damage to an enemy, you will deal additional damage on top of that. So it's kind of like a band-aid fix, not really, but it's just kind of a fail-safe. I think that's a better term for it. If your Noel, for whatever reason, isn't doing enough damage, you will get an additional damage instance. I think this could have some interesting interactions. Let's say you have a Noel which does 11% damage over here. That means this part, the second part over here, won't trigger. But if you deal 9% damage by default and this second part triggers, that may actually give you additional damage to go past 11%, which means that potentially there may be situations where dealing less damage will result in you dealing more because of this second part. And that might be a little confusing. Hopefully you guys understand what I mean, but I think we will see perhaps some interesting interactions when it comes to PvP or PvE as well. As for talking about this part in specific, the damage here is actually, I think, going to be pretty good. 400% multiplier is very solid, but more importantly, we are guaranteed to have crit rate over here and 100% piercing. Piercing is extremely important for direct damage dealers, and additionally, we don't have to build crit damage on her because 100% of her mastery will be converted to crit damage. So I think this is going to be very nice and very simple to build. Next, we have the special 4, Christmas Magic. Grants all allies Resolute 2, which is skill damage up by 40% for 2 turns and removes all buffs from enemies. Meanwhile, deals 100% attack damage and 570% attack detonation damage to all enemies. Afterwards, grants Surprise Present to all allies for 2 turns. Surprise Present is immune to damage over time. This is going to be obviously really strong, immune to damage over time. I mean, it's as strong as it reads, right? Very, very good. And now for the exclusives. Her kit, honestly, at exclusive 0 already seems very solid, but when we come to exclusives, we all know it's gonna go absolutely crazy. So exclusive 1, Noel is immune to turn meter reduction effect. This is just a very simple and nice thing to have. Very, very strong for PvP. And all allies are immune to Counter's Curse. So Counter's Curse is Agatha's effect, and this is just, I guess, very specifically a hard counter to Agatha. Counter's Curse basically prevents your heroes from reviving, and this has been very prevalent in PvP content because of things like Boreas, which revives, and that in combination with the new Spirit Beast, the Calamity Bone Dragon, we do need a character which helps negate revives, and that's what Agatha is in PvP teams for. And basically, Noel now says Agatha is going to be useless, and our Boreas is going to be able to revive a whole bunch again. After an ally proactively launches basic attacks or casts active skills, increase Noel's turn meter by 5%. This may not look like a lot, 5%, but it definitely will add up over time and will allow her to take lots of turns and consequently deal lots of damage. When an enemy increases an ally skill cooldown, Noel refreshes the cooldown of all ally skills and acts for 1 extra turn. This effect can only be triggered once before Noel acts next turn. So this to me just seems like a hard counter to Lydia. We all know Lydia has been very annoying in PvP content especially, yeah, and there's been several attempts by different heroes to try and counter her, and none of them have really been fully effective. But in my opinion, this is just a really, really hard counter. So if Lydia increases skill cooldown for your team, it basically gets completely negated and is completely useless. So this exclusive 1 primarily is going to be a Agatha counter and also a Lydia counter as well. Next, for exclusive 2, for every 8 basic attacks launched or active skills cast proactively by allies, Noel will use Christmas Magic to pursue an attack once, which is her special 4, and gain Warmth, which increases attack by 4% up to 40%. When Warmth is stacked to max layers, so at 40%, which should be pretty fast, increases all turn meter increase effects on Noel by 100%. This is going to be really good. This will of course stack over here, so rather than increasing turn meter by 5%, it will increase by 10 instead. And then next we have, after all allies take basic attack damage or active skill damage once in any turn, Noel gains Illusion, which is immune to basically every type of damage taken next time before the current turn ends, so just very strong and will help increase her survivability. And when any ally takes basic attack damage or skill damage 4 times in total in any turn, Noel will immediately gain her 10 layers of warmth once again. This is the attack increase, which will also increase this, or rather trigger this turn meter increase effect as well. Next, for exclusive 3, after an ally deals damage proactively by launching basic attacks or casting active skills, if the target has 40% or more HP, Noel additionally deals direct damage equal to Whimsical Charm once. So Whimsical Charm is the passive, and that's pretty interesting, so let's see what's going on. So I guess it just means it will trigger this direct damage portion over here, the 400% attack damage with crit rate and piercing. So that will happen when you deal damage to an enemy, or rather any ally deals damage to an enemy and still has a lot of health. So this is going to be extremely, extremely strong, in fact. And it makes me wonder if building maybe some sort of hybrid build would be useful. I think it's not likely, but maybe it's worth considering. But then again, we do have the mastery to crit damage conversion and all these stats already built into a kit that you don't really have to. So in my opinion, we will still mainly be building her with mastery and attack and speed. But definitely a very strong effect, especially the fact that it happens after any single ally deals damage and not just herself. After Christmas Magic ends, which is her special 4, so after she casts it, I guess, inflicts one layer of scare bots on all enemies. This is going to be really important for her damage because it allows her special 2 to stack more and more damage. And at the beginning of each wave, reduce turn meter increase effect by 100% for the enemy excluding boss, who has the highest initial speed. So I think this is going to be Apsara counter. Um, Apsara does reduce turn meter for or actually Apsara increases turn meter for her own team and reduces it for the enemy team, and this just counters Apsara at the start of the fight. I don't think it's going to be a full Apsara counter, meaning that she's not necessarily going to be completely eliminated from PvP teams. Of course, it's a possibility, but I don't think this itself is sufficient to get her out of the meta. So, what do I think overall about the kit? I think honestly at exclusive 0, she already looks like she's going to have some decent damage, but as with all limited time hero characters, it's one which you want to have as high exclusive as possible. I would say at minimum, ideally, you would want exclusive 2. This part seems really, really strong, but obviously, for full potential of a kit, you should be going for exclusive 3. So I do hope that you guys have been saving your miracles and been um, very disciplined in saving your gems and all that, because this is a character you do want at exclusive 3 for sure, and exclusive 2 at minimum. Besides that, I think she does have the potential for very good damage. Without a doubt, she's going to be used in PvP because of her exclusive 1 for her Agatha and Lydia counter, and she seems to be a very versatile character overall. Of course, we haven't even seen her Echo yet, which might be very strong. We'll have to see on Wednesday or maybe Thursday, and on Friday, we'll of course do our summons and get to test out. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.